Have you ever wondered what it takes to build an entire city from scratch? No history, no old buildings, just a blank slate and a bold vision. Sounds insane, right? But around the world, governments and visionaries have done just that, creating futuristic capitals, economic hubs, and even smart cities from the ground up. But why? What makes a country decide to build a whole new city instead of expanding an existing one? And do these cities actually succeed, or do they become ghost towns of failed dreams? Let's find out. Brasília, Brazil. Imagine a city that wasn't supposed to exist, but was created purely out of ambition. That's Brasília. Before 1960, Rio de Janeiro was Brazil's capital, but the government wanted a fresh start in the country's center. Instead of expanding an existing city, they did something wild. Designed an entirely new one from scratch. Picture this, a vast empty landscape in the heart of Brazil. No skyscrapers, no streets, just a vision of the future. That vision came from Lucio Costa and Oscar Niemeyer, two brilliant minds who transformed a blank canvas into a masterpiece. From above, Brasília looks like an airplane, a symbol of progress and movement. The cockpit is where the government buildings are, while the wings stretch into residential zones. But here's where it gets even crazier. It was built in just 41 months. Imagine constructing an entire capital city in that time. And not just any city, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Every building, every street, every park was carefully planned to fit a futuristic modernist dream. Yet Brasília has its quirks. Unlike most cities, it wasn't designed for walking. Residents rely heavily on cars. And despite its beauty, some say it feels too structured, lacking the organic charm of old cities. But one thing is undeniable. Brasília is proof that with a grand vision and bold execution, a city can rise from absolutely nothing. Canberra, Australia. What happens when two major cities hate losing to each other? You build a brand new capital to settle the score. That's exactly how Canberra, Australia's capital, was born. Back in the early 1900s, Sydney and Melbourne were at war, not with weapons, but with pride. Each wanted to be the capital of Australia. The government, instead of picking a side, said forget it, we'll build a whole new city instead. And just like that, Canberra was born in 1913. But here's where things get interesting. It was designed to blend perfectly with nature. Unlike many concrete-heavy capitals, Canberra is full of green spaces, lakes, and rolling hills. It was created by an American architect, Walter Burley Griffin, who imagined a city that felt more like a park than a metropolis. Even today, it's sometimes called the bush capital because of how much nature surrounds it. However, for years, Canberra felt like an empty capital. It took decades for the city to gain energy. People used to joke that it was just politicians and kangaroos. But today, it's one of the most well-planned, livable cities in the world, proving that even a city built out of pure rivalry can become something truly special. Naypyidaw, Myanmar. What if I told you there's a capital city 4 times the size of London, but almost no one lives there? Sounds like something out of a dystopian movie, right? Well, welcome to Naypyidaw, Myanmar's ghost capital. In 2005, Myanmar's government shocked the world by suddenly moving the capital from Yangon to an entirely new city. No public announcements, no warning, just a surprise shift to a place in the middle of nowhere. The reason? No one really knows. Some say it was for security reasons, others believe it was part of a government master plan. But here's the crazy part. Naypyidaw was built to be futuristic. It has massive highways with 20 lanes, but barely any cars. There are huge hotels, government buildings, golf courses, and even a replica of Yangon's famous Shwedagon Pagoda. Everything was designed to accommodate millions of people, yet the population is shockingly low. It feels like a city waiting for people to arrive. But they never did. Visitors describe it as an eerie, almost surreal place, where streets are empty, malls are deserted, and hotels sit half vacant. It's a city that looks ready for the future, yet feels like it was abandoned before it even started. Will it ever become the bustling capital it was meant to be, or will it remain one of the strangest urban experiments in history? King Abdullah Economic City, Saudi Arabia. Imagine a city that didn't exist 20 years ago, but was built to rival the biggest metropolises on Earth. That's King Abdullah Economic City, Saudi Arabia's $100 billion dream, rising straight from the desert. In 2005, Saudi Arabia made a bold decision to build an ultra-modern city from scratch on the coast of the Red Sea. Why? because the country wanted to reduce its dependence on oil and create a futuristic business hub. KAC isn't just a city, it's an economic powerhouse, expected to house 2 million people and drive billions in trade. And get this. KAC is home to one of the biggest ports in the world. It's designed to handle global shipping at an unprecedented scale. But that's not all. The city is packed with luxury resorts, cutting-edge technology, and a high-speed train connecting it to Mecca and Medina. But here's the question. Will KAC succeed? Building a city is one thing, but attracting people to move there is another. As of now, the city is still growing, with some areas fully developed while others feel a bit too empty. If everything goes according to plan, KAC could become one of the most important cities of the 21st century. If not, it might join the list of the world's most ambitious but unfulfilled dreams. Lavasa, India. Imagine a city where every building looks like it belongs in a European postcard, where colorful houses line peaceful streets, and where life was designed to feel like a permanent vacation. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Lavasa was supposed to be. India's first fully planned private city, inspired by the charm of Italian towns. Back in the early 2000s, Lavasa was introduced as a dream destination, a self-sustaining, high-tech city nestled in the scenic Western Ghats near Pune. It had everything: luxury villas, tech parks, resorts, waterfront promenades, and even a golf course. The goal? To create India's own version of a European getaway where people could live, work, and relax all in one place. Investors poured in and excitement soared, but then, disaster struck. Lavasa faced a storm of legal issues, environmental violations, and financial troubles. Construction slowed, investors pulled out, and suddenly, the dream city started falling apart before it was even completed. Today, parts of Lavasa remain eerily empty, with unfinished buildings and deserted streets. What was meant to be a bustling paradise is now a cautionary tale about what happens when grand plans don't meet reality. But here's the twist. Lavasa isn't completely abandoned. Some residents still live there, and efforts to revive it are ongoing. The big question is, will Lavasa ever rise again, or will it forever remain a ghost town of what could have been? Songdo, South Korea. What if your city could talk to you? What if your trash bins emptied themselves, your traffic lights adjusted to real-time congestion, and everything around you ran on artificial intelligence? Welcome to Songdo, South Korea, a city that was built not just from scratch, but for the future. Songdo is often called the world's first smart city, and for good reason. It's located on reclaimed land near Seoul, meaning that this entire city didn't even exist before the 2000s. But instead of just building another metropolis, South Korea decided to redefine what a city should be. Here's what makes Songdo mind-blowing. It's entirely digital. Every home is connected to a central network, allowing residents to control everything, from their appliances to security, through smart systems. Traffic is managed by AI-powered sensors, and waste is automatically sucked underground through an advanced pneumatic system. No need for garbage trucks. And let's talk about sustainability. 40% of the city is dedicated to green spaces, making it one of the most eco-friendly urban developments in the world. Biking and walking are encouraged, and Songdo aims to be carbon neutral in the coming years. But there's a catch. Is it too perfect? Some residents feel that Songdo is almost too controlled, with its structured design making it feel a little robotic. While it's a city of the future, it still needs to grow into a place that feels more alive. But one thing's for sure, Songdo is a glimpse into what cities might look like everywhere in the next few decades. Nusantara, Indonesia. What if your capital city was sinking, and the only solution was to build a brand new one from scratch? Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But that's exactly what's happening in Indonesia. Meet Nusantara, the future capital designed to save an entire nation from disaster. For decades, Jakarta has been slowly sinking into the sea, literally. Built on swampy land and overpopulated with 10 million people, the city faces some of the worst traffic and pollution on Earth, but the biggest threat, floods. Rising sea levels and uncontrolled groundwater extraction are swallowing parts of Jakarta at an alarming rate. If nothing is done, large areas could be underwater by 2050. So, in 2019, the Indonesian government announced something bold. Let's move the capital. But instead of just picking another city, they decided to build one from scratch. Enter Nusantara, a futuristic eco-city being constructed on the island of Borneo, 1,300 kilometers away from Jakarta. But here's what makes Nusantara truly groundbreaking. It's designed to be a forest city. Unlike traditional capitals filled with concrete, Nusantara is being built with 75% green space, powered by 100% renewable energy, and designed with smart infrastructure that minimizes pollution. Imagine a city where public transport is electric, skyscrapers blend into nature, and sustainability isn't just a feature, it's the foundation. Of course, the project isn't without challenges. Moving an entire capital is no small feat, and there are concerns about costs, logistics, and environmental impact. But if it succeeds, Nusantara could become the world's most sustainable capital, proving that cities of the future don't have to destroy the planet to thrive. The big question now is, can Nusantara pull it off, or will it become another expensive dream that never reaches its full potential? And there you have it, 7 cities that rose from nothing but ambition and a blueprint. Some are thriving, while others struggle to find their place in history. But one thing's clear, the future of urban living is being built right now. Which of these cities fascinated you the most? Do you think building cities from scratch is the answer to modern challenges? Let me know in the comments. And if you love exploring architecture and urban wonders, subscribe to DwellScape for more.